The station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
I believe that every single one of us has what it takes
to win back-to-back gold.
Ski faster than any other human.
I believe it's possible to overcome fear.
I believe
it's possible to destroy stereotypes.
To start over, to be the toughest,
the strongest,
the bravest in the world. And when we work together, we can make it all possible. That's why Citi has donated $500,000 through its Every Step of the Way program, an initiative created to help future athletes reach their full potential through sport programs that inspire us. Like figure skating in Harlem.
Like youth enrichment services. Like Team for Tomorrow.
The Team USA Stay on the Slopes initiative. Now spread the word and help decide how much of that money goes toward
offering personal support and financial assistance to Olympians in need.
Promoting the growth of hockey in the U.S.
Expanding the sport of luge into new regions.
Support for wounded service members. Join Team Citi and let's turn a world of potential into reality.
Go to citi.com/everystep and help decide where the money goes.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
You think you know the story of Dracula. You have no idea. But I'm going to show you.
My enemies threaten to destroy my kingdom. I want the power to save my family.
Dreams.
Welcome to your life.
My name is Dracula.
There's a room where the light won't find you.
What's happening to you?
I chose this. Because men do not fear swords. They fear monsters.
This is not who you are.
There's always a prize for power.
Everybody wants to rule.
I will not be defeated!
Dracula Untold, in theaters and IMAX, October 10th. The Ouija board has existed for centuries. It is used to communicate with the dead.
If there's a presence here, please make yourself known. This is a joke. Oh my God. It's not even real, okay?
It's just a game.
Ouija.
We're saying goodbye!
Rated PG-13.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
The American dream has become a nightmare. Signs of the time are on cardboard on corners in town. Like a cancer that's silently spreading, there's an unspoken fear we're on our way down. must take America back. Main Street to Wall Street, cities and states, Washington, D.C. Before it's too late, there's not long. We need leaders who lead us, not stick us and bleed us, then ransom our future and our children's, that's wrong. We must take America back as liberty weeps, our forefathers spin in their graves. Pray God will bless some way out of this mess. We must take America back. Fight for freedom, and the soul of the USA. Right here, right now, it's Independence Day. We must take America back. Main Street to Wall Street, cities and states, Washington, D.C. Before it's too late, there's not long. We need leaders who lead us, who lift us and heed us, who stand for what's right and stand up to what's wrong. We must take America back, now and forever, with God in His rightful place. Then He will bless and protect the U.S. We must take America back. We must take America back.
We are living in times where there is an assault on sanity. Political correctness has run amok and logic has been left by the wayside. Do you constantly ask yourself, WTF is going on in this nation? Do you sometimes feel like a stranger in your own country? Well, fear not. You are not alone. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, coming to you from deep inside flyover country with your hosts, V. Wright and Jose Estevez.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to WTF. I'm your host, V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez, your undocumented Mexican-American co-host, living the dream. And I think I've already cast a few votes for the upcoming midterms in 8 days, but let's just keep that between ourselves. And this is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show.
Hola, senor.
Hi, how are you, V?
I am doing all right. Did you have a nice weekend?
Yeah, I was going to say happy Monday. I had a good weekend. Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of
I
uneventful and some horror movies, just some nap time. Good weekend.
I never say happy Monday. You've got to be kidding, right?
Does somebody have a case of the Mondays?
Somebody always
I had
has
to
a
say
case of the
that.
Mondays. I got a case of a lot of other things, too, but we'll get to those.
You and I both, and probably everybody listening in as well.
Guys, I want to thank you guys for tuning us in. I want to thank our guys over at Princeton University. I also want to take this opportunity to remind folks, if you need a ride to the polling locations in Princeton, New Jersey, please call Princeton GOP. We have about 30 or so young folks there that would be more than glad to come pick you up at your home, transport you to the poll, and return you home. In addition to that, I understand we have some folks at some universities in Alabama and, of course, North Florida. We appreciate you guys. Jose.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you have something to tell us about some folks in black pajamas.
I do. The little core animals, the ISIS guys over there running around in the Middle East acting like idiots. First of all, folks, let's do a little... I'm going to give a quote and see if you can guess who said it. Quote, "The Muslim call to prayer is the most beautiful sound in the world." End quote. Well, that's your very own Hussein Obama. Can you believe it? Of course you can. Anyway, here's the story. The BBC was interviewing Kurdish activists in London those Kurdish activists have direct knowledge of what is going on in Syria and Iraq on the ground right now. If you've noticed, it's kind of come out of it's already kind of come off of the 24-hour news cycles. They're still talking about it, but not near to the amount that they were even a week or two ago. So this one gentleman who evidently had spoken with a Yazidi girl who was a sex slave in a brothel in Iraq. Here's a quote from her. Evidently they talked to her on the phone. This quote says, "If you know where we are, please bomb us. There is no life after this. I'm going to kill myself anyway. Others have killed themselves this morning. I've been raped 30 times and it's not even lunchtime. I can't go to the toilet. Please bomb us." Folks, where is the war on women at? I'm telling you what, it should be at the forefront of the news. People are suffering over there at the hands of the Koranimals and the Muslim extremists. I don't know that there's anything other than a Muslim extremist. And just because it's not in the news doesn't mean things aren't going on, and there's terrible atrocities being committed every day over in that area of the world. Of course, we've had a lot of that here recently, and our friends in Canada have experienced it as well. But that just, our Democrat friends, our liberal friends, our leftist friends, our communist friends, all synonyms for the same thing. You can talk about a war on women here in the United States, but I'll tell you what, folks, I haven't seen one feminazi stand up yet for what's going on over there in the Middle East. It's kind of damning, if you ask me, that they won't say anything. So that's all I've got to say about that.
Well, I have more to say about it, and we have allowed this to infiltrate American society to an extreme amount, to the point that people are not concerning with themselves with the massacres of children, of babies. They're desensitizing themselves to babies being beheaded, to babies being stepped on until so that they cannot breathe, so that their lungs cannot expand. The atrocities on women.
Yeah, it's savage. It's absolutely savage what's going on over there.
But we sit here, and all the people that have so much compassion, they care so much. But they say nothing in regards to this. Absolutely not a word. There is no outrage. It is, "Oh, well, I don't understand why there's a problem." There's a problem, idiot, because you're stupid. Because you're too ignorant to understand how this is going to affect you one day. Because you're complacent and lazy.
Very true. Just because it's not here yet doesn't mean it won't come here. And it is already here, V. Come on. Just because we call it workplace violence and don't call it what it really is. It's here.
Wait a minute. We're not even talking about the honor killings that occur in the United States. We're not discussing that in cities like Dallas and Houston and Newark, New Jersey and New York City and Dearborn and Twin Cities, Minnesota, that on a daily basis women are beaten within an inch of their lives. Women are oppressed. And you've got a few that come out and say, "Oh, well, it's not really like that. Now, here in the United States, I have all the freedoms in the world."
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Until they go home.
Mm-hmm.
Until they go home. Where it's clean, cook, take care of the kids, shut your mouth, take your beating, understand you're not going to have any say. You have no power. Any money that you happen to earn actually is mine. And if you don't like it, pay me my dowry back and get out. Right. If I don't decide to kill you first. And that happens every day here in the United States of America. And the liberals, with all of their compassion, the Occupy people who just love all the poor so much, the needy, the concerned, with all the feminazis out there that are so concerned with the war on women. Why aren't you in those cities with your war on women? Why are you not in those streets? Why are you not in the streets of Dearborn, Michigan, walking with your signs as their women walk behind them covered in burqas?
And that's right here in the United States, right in Michigan.
I am not feeling it. It is self-serving. It's just like Gloria Steinem standing up there and saying, oh, gun control, gun control. If it'll save just one child's life with a T-shirt that says, I had an abortion. You had a chance to save one life. You didn't do it.
You can cut the hypocrisy with a knife when it comes to the leftists. Yeah, I've seen that shirt too with her, and it's astounding that she could even get that out of her mouth, say something like that. But yet every day they'll women's choice all the babies right into the dumpsters behind the Planned Parenthood buildings.
Well, it just drives me crazy. I want to know where I go to get certified for fourth trimester abortion.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too. Wow, I'm telling you.
Can somebody tell me, or 157th trimester abortion? I'll go with that one too.
Isn't it something?
Just tell me where I can go get certified. I promise I'll do a swift job. I'll be very good at it.
Hey, and you had brought up something in your nice little rant there. Good job, by the way, about the Twin Cities, meaning Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Minnesota. And I remember a story that we haven't had time to talk about from a couple weeks ago. A bunch of those cities are a big area for Somali refugees. And I see the Somali refugees are upset because it looks like a great many of them are on food assistance and assistance of all kinds. They're unable to take care of themselves, apparently, just like back in Somalia. And they wanted halal-approved foods at the food pantries because the food they were getting wasn't halal-approved, which they're supposed to have under Islam. So not only do they need the free food, but then they have the temerity to ask for something that's halal-approved. I mean,
you haven't heard the latest. They are demanding of the food stamps that they remove anything that is not Muslim approved from the food stamp program. Well, that's all fine and dandy. I wonder how many of our let's look at the numbers, okay, folks? We've got all of these people on food stamps, and as much as we would like to say it is just the black community that is on food stamps, or it's just the Muslim community, half the people on food stamps are white. Okay, so
that's true. That's true.
We want to take the white folks and the black folks and tell them they can't have their pork chops, their ham hocks to season their meats with, their bacon, their fat back. Because let's be honest, these are things that are utilized a great deal by those on food stamps because they're cheaper cuts of meat. Ham is a cheaper cut of meat. Pork products generally are, especially since chicken skyrocketed and beef has gone through the roof.
Beef is over $4 a pound, V.
I know.
That's just for hamburger. We're not talking the steaks and all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, you take from that massive portion of the food stamp people and tell them they can no longer have pork products. They can't have hot dogs. They can't have bologna. They can't have ham sandwiches. They can't have, any of that. How well do you honestly think that's going to go over?
I'm not thinking very well at all. I'm like a fart in church, maybe.
I'm figuring it's probably not going to go over very well.
I'm thinking no.
What can you say? Speaking of people that act stupid.
Oh yeah, I've got one for you, boy. That's a great lead in there, B. Thank you. Folks, you've got to have heard this story from this weekend about the lady that did a great job and went over to work with Ebola patients in Africa. And then she came back to the United States and was quarantined in New Jersey, but then completely ruined everything by complaining of being interrogated and held in violation of her civil rights. So that's probably racist or something like that. Well, folks, she's a nurse. Her name is Casey Hickox. If you have seen pictures of her, her hair resembles that of Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz, who's out of Florida there. Looks like she uses mayonnaise to style her hair. Evidently, Casey is a huge Obama supporter who just happens to work for the CDC, but you won't find any of that anywhere because her LinkedIn account has been scrubbed clean, and so are many other things on the internet now. She was in the infectious disease unit of the CDC, actually. But yes, registered Democrat and very proud supporter of Obama, and evidently worked for his campaign or something with the Democrats there. But that's all been scrubbed. Now, mind you, they wanted to quarantine her in New Jersey. She complained about being interrogated and held in violation of her civil rights. I just happened to notice another story that was right along with this. U.S. soldiers being placed in isolation for 21 days in Italy, Germany, and Spain if they have anything to do with Africa over in the African Ebola campaign over there. So U.S. soldiers can be placed in isolation for 21 days and bear that burden just to make sure they're coming back safe. But heaven forbid this nurse up there in New Jersey could be expected to do the same thing. Now, how did I know she was a progressive? I mean, come on. She's a self-made victim of everything, just like all progressives, making her violation of her civil rights. And of course she's a progressive. She's whiny, self-indulgent, selfish, and arrogant. And that doesn't even get into how she styles her hair. So anyway, there's another one for you.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm not going to sit here and mess with the ladies because they have curly hair, because I have extremely curly hair. But mine, unless I just got out of the shower and it's not dry yet, it is very soft and bouncy, and I don't put all that crap in my hair.
Soft and bouncy. There you go. Next thing you know, you're going to have to get the products you use as a sponsor for the program. There you go. Soft and bouncy.
I'll work on it. Speaking of products that sponsor our show, don't you have a particular fondness for one of them?
Oh my goodness! I am so psyched that we have Ford as a sponsor on the show,
that was coming.
and on the network on the CPR Worldwide Media.com. I am so psyched. I look back with fondness on Fords because my dad bought me my first car when I think it was when I was 15, because back then you could get your license. You could just get a regular license at 16 as soon as you took your driving class and passed your test, which I did on the first time. And my first car was a 1978 Ford Thunderbird. So it's nothing like the new cars, but I'll tell you what, that thing had 351 modified in it from the factory. The hood was about half as long as the football field, baby blue with a dark blue half Landau top. I love that car. Who knows how much many miles per gallon it got? We were paying 89 cents a gallon back then, probably right around there. So it probably got about 8 or 10, but boy, that car was a lot of fun. So I'm really psyched that Ford's on board with us. They make some great cars, and of course their cars nowadays get much better mileage. Much easier to park than that big old Thunderbird. But I'll tell you what, I look back on fondness with that Thunderbird, and I wish I still had it, but who knows? Who knows where it is now? But anyway, check out Ford the next time you guys are looking for a car. They make some
it wasn't just too long ago. You and I, that I was talking about the new Ford Mustang. Man, that thing is sweet.
Oh, the Mustang.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think.
And then they got all the way from a V6 to the big V8s. Oh man, I mean, you can just pretty much pick your poison as how many tickets you want to get. But I think even their V6s are hot nowadays.
Somebody hand me the fan.
You gonna be okay? You got the vapors over there, V? How you doing?
I do.
Well, I'm actually my dream Ford right now, and the most impractical vehicle in the world. But I'm gonna tell you what right now, I would love a 4-door long bed 4-wheel drive diesel stick dually. I don't even know if they make them with sticks anymore. And I would have to put 2 smokestacks through the back of that bed, because that's just the redneck part of my neck showing. But I'll tell you what, I couldn't even park it in the garage, much less parking spots or anything like that. But I've always wanted a big dually. And boy, whenever I see one of those things, as impractical as they might be for me on a day-to-day basis, I don't know. I guess it's growing up in Texas and seeing all the big rigs and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, those Ford dualies are pretty awesome-looking vehicles.
Amen to that. Hey, we've got one of our chatters says that they're mad today. So they're still looking for their white privilege. So they're mad. They keep hearing about the white privilege. They want some.
They're still looking for that white privilege, too?
Yes, he says their civil rights have been violated because they didn't get their white privilege when they were handing it out.
Well, there's a whole bunch of us looking for that, although if you're a leftist, you can probably find your white guilt pretty easily. I think that comes, they hand that out standard to anybody over there on the left.
Yeah, I didn't get my white privilege either.
I don't believe I have mine either. I've had to work every day of my life pretty much since I was a youngster, and that's just the way I was raised, and it builds character and gives you some pride in, when you do something, when you complete something in a day.
Oh, wait a minute. Our friend says, don't forget you're an undocumented, Jose, so don't forget to hang your dice on the rearview mirror and the dog with the bouncing head on the dash.
Well, wait a minute. If I have a big dually, though, can I put those little, chrome ladies on the mud flaps on the back there and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Can they do the hula?
Yeah, something like
Guys, I also want to remind you that Princeton now has 65 drivers. So if you're in Princeton, New Jersey, and you're going to need a ride to a poll, I was just informed they have 65 drivers. And good gracious alive, if you guys aren't sitting in our chat thread at CPR Media Network group on Facebook, you don't know what you're missing. They are a riot there, and they're extremely intelligent. So you guys need to join up over there. It's a lot of fun. Also want to remind you guys, you can call in at 313-462-0068. And you can join us at our thread on CPR Media Network group on Facebook, or you can join us directly on our website, thewtfradioshow.com. THEWTFRADIOSHOW.com. And we have a caller. Caller, where are you calling from, and what is your name?
Buenos nachos, señorita y señor. It's Juan Paco Enrique Gomez from Syracuse, New York.
Hola, hola.
I'm a natural-born citizen, but I traded in my white privilege to become legal. Now I get everything for free.
I hate that you're getting everything for free. I really do hate that you're getting everything for free. However...
Well, turn in your white privilege, too.
Yeah, that's what I have to do is turn in my white privilege. Caller, I'm going to have you call right back because we're having a problem with the phone line. So can you call us right back?
You got it.
Thank you. And... I apologize for that, senor. We had a caller. We had a caller, and
I missed it.
Our caller is back. There we go.
Awesome.
No, that was not my fault. That was a technological problem.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, hola, caller.
Hola, buenos nachos.
Nachos, yes.
Senor JPEG.
And quesadillas.
Yeah, chimichangas.
You see, white privilege is from the age of 16, you got the privilege of paying taxes for all the illegals.
Oh, ándale, let's have a fiesta.
A lot of times they get free or reduced tuition compared to people that are here legally and paying taxes and working ostensibly and that sort of thing. Isn't that crazy?
Even for out of state.
Yeah.
Full scholarship at Howard University.
Wow.
It is something.
Oh, my
something.
Gosh. And the rest
My
of
daughter is 17, and she's going to college. I couldn't afford it with all the taxes. Now she goes for free.
Oh.
You figured it out.
Well, how many times are you voting this week?
Well, I voted 3 already. Maybe 4 or 5 more.
Just maybe 4 or 5 more. And where will you be
That's
traveling? Where will you be traveling? What bus will the NAACP and Acorn be putting you on and traveling you to?
New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Oh, so you're making a 5-state round.
1-day trip, all the nachos we can eat.
Oh.
There we go. Are you from New York, senor?
Si.
Are you one of those 164-year-old voters in New York City by chance?
No, that's my abuela.
Okay. Just wanted to double check.
Seriously, this is all great fun tonight, but we need to keep our eye on the ball. For the next week, we have 2 missions and 2 missions only. Number 1, get out the word. Number 2, get out the vote.
Amen to that. And guys,
Very
with
well
that,
said.
we've got to take a break. We'll be back in just a few moments.
How are things with the new
God
guy?
bless you.
All we do is go out to dinner. That's it? I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great. Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card, and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants. So he's just racking up points with me. Some people. Ugh. No, I got it.
The
Citi Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to Citi.com/thankyoucards.
The design of the Ford Escape is clearly intended to grab your eye. Oh, and your foot. Huh, ain't that a kick? The Ford Escape with the foot-activated liftgate. Go open up something interesting. Go further.
You think you know the story of Dracula. You have no idea. But I'm going to show you.
My enemies threaten to destroy my kingdom. I want the power to save my family.
Dreams.
Welcome to your life.
My name is Dracula.
What's happening to you?
I chose this. Because men do not fear swords. They fear monsters.
This is not who you are.
There's always a prize for power.
Everybody wants to rule.
I will not be defeated!
Dracula Untold, in theaters and IMAX October 10th. The Ouija board has existed for centuries. It is used to communicate with the dead.
If there's a presence here, please make yourself known. This is a joke. Oh my god. It's not even real, okay?
It's just a game. Ouija.
We're saying goodbye!
Rated PG-13.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
So don't tell me who's wrong and right when liberty starts slipping away. And if you ain't gonna fight, get out of the way. 'Cause freedom makes so free when you breathe red and white and blue. I'm giving all of myself, 'cause that's what I do. And they call me warrior. They call me loyalty. And they call me ready to provide relief and help out wherever you need me to be. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. Citizen soldier. I never leave another behind. I will never accept defeat. I'm a soldier in war, civilian in peace. 'Cause freedom makes so free when you
your host, V. Wright, and this is WTF, and...
I'm Jose Estevez, your co-host.
That's it. Not my co-host. Y'all's co-host.
No.
I'm nobody. Exactly. I'm just a voice in the radio. It's from the Squawk Box.
What she said. I think we're having a lot of fun. I hope the folks out there are enjoying it, and having as much fun as we are. Folks, don't forget our phone number, 313-462-0068. Once again, 313-462-0068. Call in and have some fun with us. Tell us what your WTF moment is from the weekend, or how you're feeling about things. We're going to jump right into talking about the upcoming election, because like our caller right before the break said, it is an important matter. It's 8 days out. Indeed, a lot of people have voted already, but 8 days until the official day. And it's for all the marbles, so to speak, right now. I think that I can say that without... I think it's for all the marbles, folks. This is do or die time. This midterm is very, very important. What do you got to say about that, V?
Well, I know that we have some really tight races. Guys, they are so tight you can't run a ribbon between them. We've got that in Georgia, in North Carolina, in Kentucky, Louisiana, Arkansas, Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, and Iowa. And when I say tight, I'm talking real tight. I'm talking within the margin of error. The polls, if it went either way, they are at 50-50. And the press is out there, mainstream media is, the Republicans have this in the bag. That is a false sense of security, people. We cannot afford to ease off even a little bit.
That's very true. This is it, folks. And if
this
you
is
have
for all the marbles,
if you have the ability to vote, then you need to go out and vote. It's as simple as that. It's your as far as I'm concerned, it's your duty, your civic duty, your responsibility as a good American citizen, especially all those of us that espouse of being, that we're patriots, that love our country. There's no excuse not to vote. There is no excuse not to vote. Now, we have acknowledged that many of us will have to hold our noses, follow the scent, and check off the R side of the column. But I'm telling you what, folks, anything on the R side of the column at this point, we can work with. Anything on the leftist side or the communist side or whatever word you want to use, no way. You're not going to work with them. You think they're going to change, even though a lot of them are acting like they're moderating, they're going towards the center to get reelected. Do you honestly think that that'll happen after the election if they win? No, the Republicans might be putrid and vile in their own right, but I think if we get them in, we can hold their feet to the fire, which indeed that's going to be the next step, and get them to do our will and get them to do what needs to be done, get some work going in Congress. As low as Obama's poll numbers are, Congress is always much less. I think 13% approval, which is virtually nothing. But we need to get them in first, and then second, we need to continue to be very diligent, and we need to continue to ride them hard and make sure they do the will of the people that get them in office, and work on things to help fix this country and try to slow Ebola down.
Well, President Pandemic can sit here and try to distance himself, or they can try to distance themselves from the comrade Caliph all they want to. The fact of the matter is their voting record speaks for itself. When you have stood by him 90+% of the time, which every single Democrat who has held their seat has done so, you cannot distance yourself from that. Your history speaks for itself. And he is absolutely right when he sits on Al Sharpton's radio show and says, I've told them go do whatever they need to do to win. That means lie, cheat, steal, whatever you got to do. Buy the vote, send the buses to fraudulently steal the vote, whatever you got to do to make sure, because I have complete confidence that they're going to stand with me. They always have. They are on my side. And that is where we're at, folks. It is not about whether or not you like the Republican or the person who is against the Democrat. And the only case that I can say absolutely do not vote for the independent is Greg Orman out there in Oklahoma, is it? Isn't
I'm
that
not
where
sure.
he's at?
I think it is Oklahoma.
And that's because he is a Democrat who has tried so hard to distance himself that he's placed himself on the independent party, but he sure doesn't mind taking George Soros's money.
Isn't that something? I mean, the Democrats know what this is all about, folks, and they're willing to win and to do anything to win. All we're asking you to is go out and vote. Don't be one of the 4 million that sat out the presidential election 2 years ago because they just couldn't vote for Romney. And guess what? We've got 2 more years. We've had for 2 years, and we've still got 2 more years to go. I mean, there's no excuse for it. But you have to go out and vote. The Democrats will be voting. The dead will be voting. The illegals will be voting. Anybody else you can think of will be voting. Why won't you go out and cast your vote? Maybe it's just canceling one of them out.
There is absolutely no reason that we should not have a 90+% turnout. The only people that should not be showing up to vote that are Republican, a conservative, a libertarian, a constitutionalist, calls themselves a patriot, gives a doggone about this country at all, are the people that are in the hospital getting surgery or had to go to the emergency room the night before and are in the hospital and cannot leave to go vote. Everybody else should be at the voting polls. I'm not hearing it. Anybody that steps to me and says, oh, well, I just couldn't vote, so I didn't vote for him. I just couldn't do it. I am not feeling you. You deserve to live with a liberal. You deserve whatever. As a matter of fact, you deserve to move to Detroit.
Wow.
I have no sympathy for you.
No, I don't either. This is a serious juncture in our nation's history. And it's not just about us. It's about our offspring. It's about our children. It's about the grandchildren, all those that are going to come after us. That's how serious this is.
Well, I hear people say all the time, well, it's not going to make any difference. Both sides are bad, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something. Oh, all we're doing is slowing the roll. Let me tell you, I'd rather stand in front of a slow-rolling car than a fast-moving train.
That's true. And indeed, slowing it down is better than letting it go. Like you said, that's a good analogy. I think slowing it down, that's better than what we've got right now. And I'll tell you what, if you don't think he's not going to double down after this election, win, lose, or draw, then you got another thing coming. I mean, I think he's already proved everything he said about this fundamental transformation. And if you think he's going to slow it down now, when his end is in sight, that he should be out of office here in a couple years. Yeah, he's going to go full speed ahead. They've already showed that card. There's no doubt about it.
Well,
take him at their word.
Look at the inroads he's made, and he's very honest. I mean, we like to call him a liar, but he's not.
No, he's not. He's brutally honest.
He's a manipulator. He is a manipulator.
Indeed.
But he's not lying. He has been very forthcoming in what his intentions are for this country. And he has said since day one that we should be lowered to the level of other countries like Mexico, like Pakistan, like all the other third-rate, unadvanced, under the control of the government country that there is out there.
I grew up in Haiti, folks. Do you wanna be brought down to the level of a Haitian? And I love those people. So it's nothing about that. Do you want to live in a mud hut, sleeping on straw mats? I mean, don't say it can't happen. That's what Obama, that's what the communists, the leftists, that's what they want to do. Okay, let's take the caller.
We have a caller. What is your name and what state do you hail from?
Hi, V and Jose. This is Tori, and I'm in the 57th state of Oregon.
Well, aren't you
Welcome,
the lucky
Tori.
one? Yay! She got all the way to number 57.
We're the 57th.
Do you have a bunch of corpsemen
state.
over there in the 57th state?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So, hey, I couldn't call in on last Wednesday on What the F Day, but I had a gripe. And
Hit us with your best shot. Go for it.
Yeah, so I have to vent right now. But my issue was going to the gun range and finding a car with an Obama bumper sticker.
Oh no! Oh no!
Like I seriously have a problem. I don't understand. Well, this dude has a Prius, and now he has "Ready for Hillary" bumper sticker.
Oh no!
Maybe he didn't mean it that way. Maybe he meant he was getting ready for Hillary.
Oh hell no!
And it just has to be a Prius. It always has to be a Prius.
Of course it's a Prius. It's all loaded with a. I almost hit him, but anyway, I finally just walked up to him and asked him, dude, I'm kind of confused because I've seen you at the gun range several times, and you have Obama, Biden bumper stickers for both 2008 and 2012, and now you have "Ready for Hillary." So what's the story? And he looked at me like confused. He says, "Because I think she'd make a wonderful president." And I said, "Do you not understand what they stand for as far as you being here?" And by the way, he has an NRA sticker on his window too.
This is a really confused leftist.
I said, "Dude, you have like serious issues, and like there's a lot of doctors, like head doctors in downtown Portland that I could refer you to because you have issues." But I kind of let it go because I see him all the time, and I just don't want to go to jail. And I'm really scared of going to jail because I don't want to have Teeny as my roommate who asks me to braid her facial hair. So I avoid that conflict. But that was my what the F for Wednesday.
Oh, wow. That would have been a great one, too. Because, there is no oxymorons. That's all I can say.
Exactly.
Is they're not just traditional morons, they're oxymorons.
They're very special morons.
They needed to be part of that. That is where all those trucks were heading. Doggone it, I just figured it out. This past weekend, we got video of over 100 trucks traveling in Richmond, Virginia. And to the point that they shut down the highways. And everybody was like, well, what's going on? Because there was Walmart trucks and CVS and FedEx and all of these other things. Well, supposedly, and I say this term lucidly because I don't know, supposedly there was a fundraiser that all of this stuff was worth $20,000, and they were carrying it for the Special Olympics. And I can't see 100+ trucks traveling 38 states plus Canada in a single day for $20,000 in donations. I'm sorry, something doesn't make sense. So what I am thinking is maybe those trucks were heading in your direction?
To the 57th state? Absolutely. Probably. I mean, everything is weird here. They're probably here. Probably under a bridge somewhere.
Well, caller, not everything is weird because you sound like you have your head screwed on right. So at least there's one good person over there.
There are very few of us.
You may be fighting an uphill battle, but keep up the battle.
Actually, it's very strange because most of Oregon is very conservative. It's just this corridor, the Multnomah, Eugene corridor, the college kids and the psychos and the meth heads. That's who decides all our elections. But everybody else is like pretty conservative around here.
Well, what are they doing to get out the vote this time? Because last time it was legalizing pot that drew out all the kids. So what do they have on the ballot in Oregon this time around?
Nothing exciting, believe it or not. Absolutely nothing exciting.
Hey, then y'all are good to go to be a red state.
I doubt it, because the loonies are so loony. They make the conservatives look crazy. I mean, they're so loony, it's unreal. I mean, I can't even describe the loony.
Oh, maybe
so
are they selling Ferguson in your state?
Not really. It's very strange. Our state is very strange because the minority population is very small, and they're kind of mellow. They haven't been brainwashed as badly yet. So I just never see that happening around here.
Please don't say that too loud. Please don't
I
say
know
that
Al
too loud,
Sharpton might
Alan.
hear me.
Yeah.
Or
He's
Jesse.
on his way to Oregon now.
If Jesse comes, nobody understands him anyway. So what difference does it make? I don't know what he speaks because it's not English, but they're too mellow. I think they're just it's different. It's a different, when they're not ready to riot, they're not ready to whatever. They're high on pot. What do you think? They don't care. They're happy. The ganja is flowing, so.
And they've got their food stamps.
Exactly. I mean, and they got ooh, I'm glad you just reminded me about the food stamps. The big food stamp population in Oregon, you'd be surprised, is Vietnamese.
Okay.
Is that a shocker? Vietnamese who own stores, like little grocery stores or restaurants. What they do is they shop with the food stamps for their restaurants.
Wow.
That's the big thing here. I mean, everybody else, yeah, but there's a very huge Vietnamese population on food stamps.
Wow. And so they are utilizing their food stamps to buy supplies for their restaurants?
Oh, yeah. I mean, big time. I can, because I have 15 people. As soon as you turn 18 in their household, then you're on food stamps. So you have a household of, 8, 9 people on food stamps, and you can completely shop for your restaurant and make a lot of money. So that's the huge deal on this side.
One of our chatters says they'll be wanting to buy cats with stamps.
Well, I'm not eating there then, dude. I'm good.
I was gonna ask about this, but one of our chatters beat me to it. Or dogs.
Or dogs.
A lot of cats and dogs missing in some neighborhoods. I'm not eating there. I'm good.
So are you saying y'all don't have an animal shelter problem?
Not really. Hey, I'm sure the pets are disappearing from the animal shelters too. I'm just saying. Hey, don't quote me, but I'm just saying. But that's the weird thing. Oregon is just strange like that. But I see them in the grocery store, and I see them in their Gucci handbags and Gucci shoes, and then out comes when they go to pay at the register, out comes the Oregon Trail card. That's the food stamp or the welfare card in Oregon. Blue debit card, and it says Oregon Trail right across it. So I've almost gone to jail a couple of times. So now I've just learned to zip it,
Well, we don't want you to go to jail.
We do.
I know. I mean, no, Teeny's waiting for me in jail, so I can't go. I just can't. Or Shaquanda. I don't need that, okay?
You've got to stop exciting those young women in jail now.
No, you know how they are. And I don't look good in orange. No thanks. And I'm small, so I would have a chick and they'll go, oh, this is your roommate, Teeny, and she'd be 350 pounds. No. I'll let you guys go. I can't take up all your time. So
I do want to ask you one question before you head out. Have we seen any more registrations of the voters?
Do you know what? I made that call the last time I spoke to you. I made that call, and I haven't seen them outside Albertsons, but I saw the same group close to the post office, walking back from the post office. But I didn't. All I did was honk because I was driving. But I haven't seen them anywhere else. But friends have told me they see them everywhere, outside the grocery store, outside. They see them at the mall, so they're still around.
Well, for the listeners who are unfamiliar,
me,
for the listeners who are unfamiliar, this caller called us last week and informed us when she was leaving the grocery store that they were encouraging you to sign up to vote. However, they had pre-filled your form as Democrat, and all they wanted was you to sign it to say you authorized it.
Right, and I didn't have to provide identification of any kind. So no you could say your name was
citizenship, no proof of ID, no proof
Zero.
of residency, nothing here. Just sign and you can vote.
Right.
Wow.
And I'm sure I can assure you there were at least, I'm sure they registered at least 100 people that day because they'd been there for a couple of hours. Don't ask for age. They just, obviously I'm sure they fill it out. They say if you look 18, they'll put 18, whatever. No ID, so I'm sure they registered a whole bunch of people. So there'll be a lot of Democrats voting this year.
Right.
And that's why every vote counts on the Republican side for everybody that we're talking to out there that's going to vote that way. Every vote counts because they will be getting out.
I did that at the gym this morning. A couple of dudes that I've kind of made them vote our way for the last 2 elections. Complete Democrats, plantation mentality. But I told them, if you want to talk, if you want a conversation with me, you vote my way. So tomorrow, I urge them to bring their ballots in, and I'm going to go over them. I'm going to just say, mark here, check here, check here.
Maybe they'll actually understand that. That'll get them on a level where they'll understand.
I don't care if they do. I don't really care if they do anymore. They're just gonna do it my way because I'm bossy like that.
There we go. Whatever it takes.
I don't give a crap how they feel. I said, you do it this way. You mail it. I want to watch you mail it, and that's the way it is. End of story. I don't care what you do after that, but you're gonna vote my way. So,
I love it. Can we send you into other neighborhoods across the country?
Please. As long as I don't wind up in jail, I'll be okay.
Hey, if I can get Daniel Defense to come and help us out over here, then, we might be able to hook you up and send you to every neighborhood.
Hey! I'll let you guys go. Take care.
All right, you have a good one.
Bye.
And that is our fabulous friend from Oregon who calls us and keeps us updated on what's going on there. And she's very informative and quite entertaining, and I just knew you guys would enjoy her.
Yeah, she sure is. She's great. Love all the people that call in. But she's good. That's for sure.
Well, guys, we're going to talk about what some of the ramifications are if we do not get out and vote, and still with some of the things that we may be dealing with during the lame duck session when we come back from this message.
How are things with the new guy? All we do is go out to dinner. That's it? I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great. Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card, and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants. So he's just racking up points with me. Some people. Ugh. No, I got it.
The City Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to city.com/thankyoucards.
The most amazing thing about the Ford Fusion isn't the way it looks. The most amazing thing is the way it sees. With blind spot technology, a lane keeping system, and a standard rear view camera, the Fusion is ready for whatever comes your way. Go prepared. Go further.
You think you know the story of Dracula. You have no idea. But I'm going to show you.
My enemies threaten to destroy my kingdom. I want the power to save my family.
Dreams.
Welcome to your life.
My name is Dracula.
What's happening to you?
I chose this. Because men do not fear swords. They fear monsters.
This is not who you are.
There's always a prize for power.
Everybody wants to rule.
I will not be defeated!
Dracula Untold. In theaters and IMAX, October 10th. The Ouija board has existed for centuries. It is used to communicate with the dead.
If there's a presence here, please make yourself known. This is a joke. Oh my god. It's not even real, okay?
It's just a game.
Ouija.
We're saying goodbye.
Rated PG-13.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
This ain't no rag, it's a flag and we don't wear it on our heads. It's a symbol of the land where the good guys live. Are you listening to what I said? You a coward and a fool and you broke all the rules and you wounded our American pride. And now we're coming with a gun and you know you're gonna run, but you can't find no place to hide. We're gonna hunt you down like a mad dog or hound, make you pay for the lives you stole. We're all through talking and the messing around, and now it's time to rock and roll. These colors don't run and we speak as one. When we say united we stand. If you mess with one, you mess with us all. Every boy, girl, woman and man. You've been acting mighty rash and talking that trash. Let me give you some advice. You can crawl back in your hole like a dirty little mole, but now it's time to pay the price. You might have shot us in the back, now you have to face the fact that the big boy's in the game. And the thunder's been crashing and the lightning's been flashing, and now it's getting ready to rain. This is the United States of America, the land of the brave and free. We believe in God, we believe in justice, we believe in liberty. You better pull that chain, we should have done something about you a long time ago. But now the flag's flying high and the fur's gonna fly, soon the whole world's gonna know. But this ain't no rag, it's a flag, old glory, red, white, and blue. The stars and the stripes, when it comes to a fight, we can do what we have to do. Our people stand proud, the American crowd's faithful and loyal and tough. Are we as good as the best and better than the rest? You're gonna find out soon enough. When you look up in the sky and you see the eagle fly, you better know he's headed your way. But this ain't no rag, it's a flag and it stands for the USA. USA! 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 When you look up in the sky and you see the eagle fly, you better know he's headed your way. Cause this ain't no rag, it's a flag and it stands for the USA.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, guys. Good evening. Welcome back. It's WTF. I'm your host, V. Wright.
And I am Senor Jose Estevez.
And this is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show.
Yes, it is. Welcome back. Our number again for the second hour, 313-462-0068. 313-462-0068. Call us.
Yeah, we encourage caller participation, and we love seeing the things that you guys post on the thread here at CPR Media Network Group on Facebook. We were talking about the elections, and we were talking about how important it is for us to get out and vote and why there is no excuse. But I want to go back to the when the Senate, under Harry Reid's leadership, if that's what you want to call it, overturned the requirement for 2/3 majority to pass law and made it simple majority of 51, he opened the door for us to kind of change things up a bit as well. There are some things coming up that may very well get pinned in during the lame duck session. Any opportunity that we have at rolling them back and placing them out of existence where they should be, along with the many other things that should be out of existence, lie in the hands of us. It is in our hands. We choose whether or not we are going to take the chance and scale back, or if we are going to get on the speed rail pass and move forward into utter communism. And anyone that tells you, oh, it's just socialism, oh, there's great things about socialism, those are the people who have never lived in a socialist country or lived under communist rule. They have spent their times in universities listening to professors tell them how wonderful the utopian society of communism is.
Oh, it's good for some people, V, the people up at the top. But for the rest of them, you're going to suffer. You ever heard of the gulags and heard of Siberia over in Russia? It doesn't work out well for everyone, folks. It really doesn't. There's a select few at the top that do very well, and everybody else universally suffers under those regimes. And usually it's much worse than that as far as, not having anything and also the purges that they do and the amount of people that they get rid of and kill. I mean, these people aren't humanitarians. They're not going to win any awards. And just because Ebola won some Nobel Peace Prize, allegedly, back before he even really did anything, I mean, these people don't win any awards for being Humanitarian of the Year. They're brutal. And it just doesn't end well for the majority of the people.
Well, it's just a bad situation all the way around. There is no good that comes of it. Hillary Clinton made the statement this past weekend that businesses do not create jobs. I don't know where she thinks jobs come from, because without the tax dollars given by business, there is no government to create jobs. So
good point.
She needs to pull her head out her backside and, quit trying to sell the dream of communism.
Has Hillary ever created any jobs? Has her alleged husband Bill, has he ever created any jobs? Have they ever done anything to make profit, or have they simply profited off of being in government? And boy, when I say profit, I mean profit. These people. Oh wait, that's right. They're poor. What am I saying? They said that they're broke and almost destitute. Because of all their public service, their whole lives of public service. That's why they have 2 or 3 houses and yeah. Wow. If that's poor folks, then I want to be poor.
I want to know. I've been through the villages and the ghettos, the housing projects in my area. I wonder if I walked up to the door of any of those folks, if they could tell me one person that would be willing to give them a $5 million loan for a house.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're so destitute.
Right.
It would be interesting to find out. But some of the things that we're going to talk about, Jose, did you want, Senor, would you like to tell us a little bit about President Pandemic, the Commander Caliph's intention with immigration?
Well, we already know. We've talked about immigration. He's going to fix that immigration system. And, of course, fixing the immigration system to him means opening the floodgates from every point, north, south, east, and west, unless you happen to be Sergeant Tamarisi sitting in a rotten Mexican jail. You can't get out, but everyone else evidently can come in for free. And then not only for free, but we'll also hand you EBT cards. We'll hand you voters registration cards. We'll hand you a stack of ballots. Heck, fill them out. It's cheaper by the dozen. Go ahead and fill those ballots out and, put them in at your local voting precinct. But yeah, we talked about last week already, the work permits and green cards for up to 30 34 million people, folks. This is 1/10. That would be 1/10 of the roughly of the population in the United States right now. So he does not have small designs on immigration. A couple million here, a couple million there. They want a lot of people here. And why would they want those people? I mean, we talked about 100,000 from Haiti. Who knows how many hundreds of thousands have come in and continue to come in over through Texas, Arizona, California, all the borders down south from Mexico and points south, all through South America, and probably from the Middle East. And who knows? I mean, we don't know who is coming in from where they're coming because we don't have enough people to check them. They just continue to come, and it's not reported on anymore. It's out of the news cycle. I don't know the last time I saw a story about that, but we do know from people that are down there that it continues to happen on a daily basis, and it's an unabated stream of people coming through, coming into the United States. For what? We can only guess. But I can guess
we're
it's
not even
good.
going to talk about them because we had another story here, and this just ties into it. And it's not just the illegals flooding our border. It's not just the Middle Easterners, the potential terrorists. I mean, we have had people who are down on our borders that have seen people in black pajamas doing single file across our border and no one's stopping them. So it's not just that. But let's also take into account that the UN is about to dump a flood of Muslim refugees into the U.S. You know, since the early 90s, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees has selected 200,000 to 250,000 people to bring into the United States through our State Department under a refugee lottery program. And that's been going on since the early 90s, since Operation Desert Storm.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And I'll never forget that because my brother was there. But I mean, this has been going. And where are the most of these people coming from? They're coming from Somalia. They're coming from Syria. They were coming from Iraq. They were coming from Afghanistan. They were coming from Iran at the time. But in February, the State Department moved to ease rules that limited it to 200 to 250,000. The Obama administration has been greasing these skids for the Syrian refugees for months.
Yes, they have.
And they're soon to be here in the United States. So in addition to the 34 million plus flood of illegals and others coming across our southern border and illegally marching their behinds into the United States and making demands like they have the right to make a demand in another country that you cross their border illegally. Find out what happens to you. Only in America do we deal with this foolishness.
But V, didn't immigrants used to come here with the idea, and I'm sure not all of them were perfect. We had lots of people that came, and brought troubles with them and stuff. But didn't people used to come to do this thing called assimilation? I know it's a strange concept, but that assimilation means you kind of break yourself down and become part of the bigger, talk about the melting pot. But you don't have to give up everything. But you make it better. You know what I mean? You add what you have that's good into that melting pot, and it makes us all better. Language. Your culture is not your culture anymore. It's the United States culture, but you take parts of it with you and make it even better. I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but nobody comes here to do that anymore. They all want to speak their own languages. They want to wave their own flags. I don't understand it at all. I do understand it actually.
Well, it's perfectly understandable, and that's that's where this thing on these Syrians and these Afghanis and these ISIS caliphate members are going to make it into this program. A few local newspapers have already started reporting, and they've surfaced a little bit as to where some of these refugees will be delivered, because let's remember, the State Department determines what neighborhood they put them in, because our taxes pay for these people for no less than 1 year for housing, all utilities, all transportation, all medical, all food costs, all clothing costs, everything that they need for no less than 1 year. So the State Department, and whatever political party is running the State Department, determines what area of the country that these people are placed in. That is why you see a primarily red state and city like Texas being bombarded with Muslims.
Oh, of course. They've got this all planned out.
Let me tell you who's next on the list. Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Greensboro, North Carolina. Already there are Syrian families in Greensboro living in hotels there. Cleveland Plain Dealer reports September 10th that the city's social services were preparing for a flood of refugees from Syria and Iraq later this year. And again, to reiterate, once the refugees are relocated to an American city, they are quickly connected to an array of taxpayer-funded social services, including but not limited to Medicaid, food stamps, subsidized housing, interpreters, tutors, and anything else that they need. Now, groups like Human Rights First, World Relief Corps, the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, the Catholic and Lutheran churches all have strong presences in Washington and are doing the bidding for the UN. Now, 90% of the work that they do in that capacity comes from federal grant money, which means what? We are paying to import them, and then we are paying to take care of them, and then we're going to pay for the choices that they make politically. We're screwed.
Oh, we're going to pay, all right. You're right about that. We're going to pay. There is no doubt about that. But of course, this money just, is snatched out of the air, I guess, and it's unlimited. I mean, that's the way it's being spent. But at some point, it has to stop. And what happens when it stops?
Well, let's be clear about this. Once Muslim families are here, they have vastly more children than the typical American family. The average of a Somali couple in Minnesota, for example, has no less than 6 children. Now, these refugee families have changed the demographics of their host cities, such as Shelbyville, Tennessee, Lewiston, Maine, and, of course, Minneapolis, Minnesota, all of which have reported cultural clashes between Muslims expecting everything from foot baths at private colleges to dietary concessions at public schools. This is what we get to look forward to as they import their immigration. This is Obama's immigration. This is President Pandemic, the Commander Caliph, and any other derogatory name I can call him other than Hussein Obama.
I like Hussein Obama. That's his real name.
No,
tells us a lot about him.
That's true. Or
well, that's one of his real names. That's
Bend
one of his
over
names.
Bathhouse Barry.
That's just one of his names.
And I'm sorry that I got off on that rant, but I am just furious that when it is all said and done, we've brought in 34 million across our borders, and we already were founded for 250,000 automatically through our State Department, and now they're talking about another 115 to 350 this year. 1,000, folks. That's over 500,000 Muslims this year.
At least. I mean, sometimes I just don't know what to say, V, because the news is, I don't know, sometimes it's overwhelming, I think.
It is so angering at times. It
is.
We try, to bring some levity, but there are some things that are just so outrageous, so damaging, that you can find no humor in it, and all it does is build a boiling rage inside of you. And this is one of those things with me. This is a topic that I most definitely see my blood pressure just skyrocketing. I know right now it's in the 200 zone.
I think mine perpetually remains that way and has for the last couple of years, the way I feel. It's overwhelming, but it's the truth, and we're trying to bring it to the folks. And hopefully, you folks are out there doing your own investigations and looking into this. I mean, the information is out there, but it's very troubling because these people don't think like us, and not necessarily that they have to, but I mean, their thought process are so fundamentally different than us. How they believe especially just talk about Islam, the subjugation of women, how they treat gay people, how they treat women. I mean, and how they treat anybody that's not a Muslim, the infidels. I mean, it's so fundamentally different than the way we are, that if they get their foothold and they succeed in turning this country, continuing this fundamental transformation, we have no idea what's coming. But we can look. Then what we have to do is go to other countries where they're in control. Afghanistan, Iraq. Let's look at all these different places. Let's see what ISIS is doing. Is that what you want here in the United States? But do you think they're going to be different if they're here in the United States? That they're going to be good little Americans, running out to the malls and shopping? And folks, it's just look at how they are in other countries. That's what they are all about. Look at their actions, not what they tell you. Look at their actions. And there's plenty of countries out there that you can gain a good insight into how they act when they're in control and when they have these overwhelming numbers in a society. And it's right there in front of you.
Well, I mean, all you have to do is look at them technologically. The fact of the matter is, they are a society older than America. Look what we have accomplished in just over 200 years. They have been there 2,000 years, 1,400 as Muslims, and what do they have to show for it?
I don't think a whole lot.
I'm just saying, let's point out the obvious.
Yeah.
And guys, I've got to backtrack just a minute here because I have a comment on our chat. And I'm sorry, I don't usually do this, but I do have to backtrack. And this chatter says, I remember when I was in college here in the States and had a professor talk about the wonders of communism. I asked him had he ever lived in a communist country, and he said no. So I enlightened him. I said, well, I was born in the USSR under communism rule, and laid it out for him and the class. When I was done, the students looked from him to me, and he said, well, that was old communism, not the New World Order.
There you have it.
But this is what these people believe. They believe that they have all the kinks figured out. They know how to do it better.
Sure. Yeah.
Their power, their idea, the way they would do it is so much better. I mean, it will be better like Kerry saving a Vietnam veteran. It will be better like Michelle Obama actually giving birth to children.
It would be better. Everything will be done differently. It'll be more. What are they saying? It'll be a more kinder, gentler communism. Is that what they're saying? It'll be
a more compassionate communism.
These halls of higher learning, academia. I mean, it's just out of control. The communists knew what they were doing when they took over there first. So they could brainwash the youth of America and change history, and all these people that have never worked a day in their lives. And believe me, I know some of them who have told me they are college professors with tenure. They've never had a real job in their life. They've simply gone from their bachelor's to their master's to their PhD, and they've never worked a job in the real world in their entire lives. And these are the people that you entrust your kids with, pay the big bucks for, and this is what they're doing to your kids, folks. And this isn't just at any college like UCLA and all the ones that we talk about that we know are leftists. These are at colleges and universities from coast to coast, including in flyover country, in places that you think would be very, very much on the right and more conservative leaning. No, folks, they're not. you'll be lucky if you could find a couple of conservative professors that would dare to speak out on these college campuses. It's just simply amazing. And yet these kids, we just send the kids there, send the money, and wow, just amazing.
Well, so we know that their plan is to push us into communism. I mean, there's no way to get around that. We know that part of that plan is through the immigration policy. Guys, there is a reason why he has not already penned this executive order that he does plan on penning by the end of next month.
Yes, right. As soon as it looks like as soon as the election's over, they're going to move full speed ahead. During the lame duck.
The only thing that might save us, guys, I'm not kidding you, is the state of Georgia. I kid you not. Let me explain this to you. If neither candidate that is running for the Senate in the state of Georgia gets 50% of the vote, there has to be a runoff election. Congress and the Senate reconvene on January 3rd. The runoff election for the state of Georgia would not be until January 6th. Anything President Pandemic did between now and then could tip the balance. The only hope that we have lies in the state of Georgia. Oh my God, we're screwed.
and you're down there. So I mean, yeah.
No, I'm serious. That's the only thing that would save us from this. Let's be honest. We have to take these with a flush. I mean, an overwhelming majority. We need to take every seat available.
Yes, we do.
I mean, if we've got to flog some Democrats to get it done, then, so be it. They like it, obviously, because they are welcoming the Muslims that are going to give it to them.
Right. House and Senate, folks. We need to keep the House and grab the Senate.
But if things were to go bad, in all honesty, the only hope would be the state of Georgia. And let me tell you something. Michelle Nunn Martin, since she doesn't like to use her husband's name because it doesn't have her daddy's Democrat power, I'm going to use it. It is Michelle Martin. She uses the alter ego of Michelle Nunn, the alias, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. That is a vile, wretched woman. She put out a new flyer in the state of Georgia using Ferguson. Her platform is Ferguson, for God's sakes.
Wow.
Because those 20,000 folks that live in or around Ferguson having issues are a national issue. And it really affects the hearts and minds and the capability of the working class to actually get fulfilling jobs, and provides housing and food and shelter and education for the multitude of Georgians. Ferguson does that. Unfrickin' real. Somebody needs to flog her, seriously. Guys, we've got to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Dad, Katy Perry is coming to town. Can we get tickets, please?
Tickets? Sure, how many?
Well, there's Hannah and Maddie and Jen and Sarah and Sarah.
Whoa, hold on. Here it comes. We can't forget about your older sister.
Thank you.
Seriously? What? I get 2 times the thank you points on each ticket. Can I come? Yeah.
The City Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on entertainment and dining out with no annual fee. To apply, go to city.com/thankyoucards.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
You think you know the story of Dracula. You have no idea. But I'm going to show you.
My enemies threaten to destroy my kingdom. I want the power to save my family.
Drink.
Welcome to your life.
My name is Dracula.
What's happening to you?
I chose this. Because men do not fear swords. They fear monsters.
This is not who you are.
There's always a prize for power.
Everybody wants to rule.
I will not be defeated!
Dracula Untold, in theaters and IMAX October 10th. The Ouija board has existed for centuries. It is used to communicate with the dead.
If there's a presence here, please make yourself known. This is a joke. Oh my god. It's not even real, okay?
It's just a game.
Ouija.
We're saying goodbye!
Rated PG-13.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Desert sky, Jiminy
to WTF, the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show. I am your host, V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez. Welcome back, folks. That number, once again, 313-462-0068. 313-462-0068. Give us a call in the last half hour. We'd love to talk to you. If you have anything to share or get off your chest or about anything we've been talking about, don't be shy. Give us a call.
Well, and join a CPR Media Network group on Facebook and link up with our thread. It's posted and pinned to the top of the page during show hours, and we can chat live, and we do monitor that during the show. You guys also can check us out at the WTFradioshow.com. That's THEWTFRADIOSHOW.com. Also want to give a shout out to all of our colleges across the country who are willing to provide transportation to and from polling locations for those that are willing to call. Guys, I also want to remind you that if you don't have a local college or your college is not participating in that program, please call your local GOP. Your local GOP office will hook you up with a ride back and forth to your polling location. There is no excuse for anyone not to go vote if you are not in the hospital, if you're not under hospice care, or you're not dead.
Oh, no, you can still vote if you're dead.
Yeah, but I meant Republican.
Yeah, well, okay, I mean, come on now. That's worth 2 or 3, perhaps. And if you're the president, it might be worth a Social Security number or 2. I'm not sure. That's kind of what I hear about.
Just guessing. Well, let's talk about some of the other things that President Pandemic plans on taking wielding his mighty pen to. Jose, you want to tell us about his anticipated nominations?
Yeah, let's talk about those nominations because this is really troubling. And don't forget our friend, Attorney General Eric Holder stepped down last month, but there still hasn't been a replacement named. Before I talk about that replacement, who is even perhaps more repugnant than Eric Holder, if that's possible, a lot of us still think that Eric Holder might be bound for a seat on the Supreme Court. I mean, we've got one lady there. I think she's about 99 years old or something like that, kind of hanging on by a thread. But boy, if nothing else scares you folks, Attorney General Eric Holder on the Supreme Court of the United States, I mean, that ought to just raise the hair on the back of your neck. This guy's been around for a long time, since Clinton, and I think he was under the expert tutelage of Janet Shakes Reno, going all the way back to some little incidents that happened, like Ruby Ridge, maybe you guys remember something like that, Waco, where a bunch of women, men, and children were burned to death. If there's misery and suffering, Eric Holder's around. Fast and Furious, of course, and let's not forget Agent Brian Terry, who died because of that and is buried on the other side of Michigan. Just sad. But this guy, he's something else. But the guy they've got in mind for replacement is considered even more radical to many people. His name is Thomas Perez. He is now the Labor Secretary. And he's described by some as a dangerous race baiter and a shameless liar. So, of course, it makes sense that he would fit right in with this regime. Boy, I mean, that's good credentials for being in this regime.
I don't know how Sharpton and Jesse didn't make the roles.
This guy recently told an all-black crowd at Howard University that he learned while visiting a Mississippi school district that officials were locking up black kids for farting. He used this outrageous anecdote as an example of lingering white racism in the Deep South. But then actually the African-American school superintendent denied the whole story and said that Perez had never even visited schools there. School administrators aren't the only people Perez has framed as racist. He also compared bankers to Klansmen, whom he says practice a more quote-unquote subtle kind of racism that's, quote, every bit as destructive as the cross burned in a neighborhood, end quote. This guy is something else. So I think basically if Obama does use him for the nomination, that he is doubling down, and why wouldn't we believe that? I firmly believe he will double down after the midterms, going into his lame duck part of his presidency the last 2 years, and then, of course, the lame duck session of Congress. I fully believe that he will. And don't forget what V said earlier, because they changed the rules in the Senate regarding nominations. I believe they only need a simple majority, which would be 51, to get him in. And so let's hope another reason why you need to go out and vote, hope the Republicans can take the Senate and we can hold their feet to the fire so that this gentleman will never see service, quote-unquote service, in the Justice or Injustice Department as it has been known for the last 6 years or so.
Well, he is going to move forward with whatever he chooses to during the lame duck. There is no ands, ifs, or buts about it. It remains with Harry Reid at the helm of the Senate until January 3rd. So we know that they are at gridlock until such time. So, of course, he has been very clear that he intends to use his pen to bypass Congress, not the Senate, because he's got them locked in with Harry Reid. And sometimes he doesn't have them locked in with Harry Reid. I don't know if you guys realize that. But sometimes even his avowed worshipers do not agree with him. And in those cases, Harry Reid tables the vote to save him the embarrassment of having his own worshipers shoot down his plan.
Do you mean the same Harry Reid that's holding all those bills that the Republicans want to get passed that would actually help the country out by everybody that's seen them and is knowledgeable about them, just so he can make the Republicans look bad? That Harry Reid from Nevada?
Yeah, that wonderful, nice guy.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely enriched himself, and in his quote-unquote public service.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that the Republicans don't have their own problems. We've got issues. We most definitely have issues. We have the same issues anyone else has or any other party has. We just don't have as many of them.
That's true. That's very true.
I mean, talk about a minority.
But you and I are equal opportunity offenders and have been since day one, and this is the first show of the third week. We'll go after anybody that's not doing the right thing, and that's not doing the right thing for the country as a whole. I mean, Republicans, it doesn't matter to us.
I'm going to guarantee you this. November 5th, I'll be on anybody's case. Right now, I want a fighting chance, and that's all we're going to have is a fighting chance on November 5th if we run a straight Republican ticket. That's a fighting chance. That's better than no chance. Without that full Republican ticket, we have no chance outside of a revolt. Does anybody really want to do that? I don't know of anybody that wants to do that. I know a lot of people are ready to do that, but I know no one wants to do it. Anybody who has ever actually fired a weapon on another human being that is not just like sadistic in nature, there is a pang in the gut when you shoot, when you see blood shed from another human being and know it, you're responsible for it. So no one really wants to do it. Anybody who has ever spoken to one of our soldiers who have come back from war that have had to take the lives of another, they don't get PTSD because it's a party.
Or a video game. It's real. It's real life. It's the real world.
So no one wants to go that route. So if we can avoid that, let's go with a full Republican ticket. Let's get 90+% of registered libertarians, independents, constitutionalists, conservatives, whatever you want to call yourself. If you believe in the Founding Fathers' documents, if you believe that this country is headed for communism without your vote, if you think it's might even be with your vote, it still might be, but you don't agree with it, get your butt to the polling.
V is exactly right. All of you Ron Paul supporters, all of you Jeffersonians, and anyone else that believes on the conservative side of things tends to go to the right side of things. Put your differences aside, vote for the Republicans, and then don't stop there. Join us. because we're going to work to hold their feet to the fire. If we can get them in the first place in 8 short days from now, then we are all going to work together to let them know why we put them there and what we expect from them, because it just starts the day after the elections, when we have 8 days till elections, folks.
Not only, Ron Paul supporters, Tea Partiers, doesn't matter. Just please don't split votes. If we split a vote, we've given it away.
Every time. It always affects us. It always affects us the most, our side the most.
Well, guys, we're going to cover some of these other things that President Pandemic has waiting for us on the other side of November 4th. But there is something else that I need to mention to you guys. We've been covering the issues going on in Ferguson since day one on the air, since our very first day on the air. Mm-hmm. And over the past few days, not only have a great deal of situations occurred in the St. Louis Ferguson area, which I'm going to discuss, but it has begun to spread. Now, on Saturday, there was a Right to Carry rally in downtown St. Louis. And if you were listening to CPR, you heard me break in and make that news alert. And what was happening is there is a pro-Palestinian leader by the name of Bassem Masri. And, of course, he is attempting to stir as much trouble as possible. In addition to that, you had the Occupy Union, student group, Hands Up, Don't Shoot, No Justice, No Peace group, right behind the carry permit, or the open carry group, doing body chalk outlines, writing names of the thugs who had been justifiably taken by the police, and they were carrying on. Of course, the open carry group was being very civil. They were out there with their AR-15s and their AK-47s and their 357s and their 45s and their 9mm. Oh, my God, I'm getting excited.
I know. You're talking my language now, V. I'm telling you.
Oh, Lord. Getting the vapors again.
Take a deep breath. You're going to be okay.
So, anyway, of course, in that scenario, with the police standing on the sideline, of course, they are oblivious. They're sitting over there doing nothing, which has become expected in the Ferguson deal. You've got Bassem Masri, the pro-Palestinian group, running back and forth from one group to the other, trying to incite the violence. He wanted it. He was baiting them in every way possible to incite the violence. Of course, we have civilized, respectful, law-abiding group of open carry individuals that are not going to bite off into this. And then you have a group of want to start something until they see some folks with some guns that could actually do some damage. They got eerily quiet.
Mm-hmm. Funny how that works, huh?
But the tension was definitely heightened thanks to the pro-Palestinians that are, out there, going over to the Occupy Union groups and trying to rile them up, and then going over to the open carry group and, you guys are killers, you're Israel supporters, and you know what? You're right. I'm an Israel supporter. Hey. And I believe in guns. Imagine that.
Yes. Yes.
But just to let you guys know about how this has spread out, last week, at the end of the week in Atlanta, Georgia, the major artery in Atlanta, Georgia is I-75, which runs north and south. On the southbound lane of I-75, they thought it would be a real good idea for that to be a place for them to do their no justice, no peace, hands up, don't shoot, walking down the middle of the expressway, backing up traffic. Now, why no one was arrested, I have no idea. However, let's take over to Phoenix, Arizona, Saturday night. Some of them folks went to jail. Them police weren't playing. And now they're being criticized for their harsh treatment of it. And I applaud them. Because when the little hoodlums put on their little face mask and their baseball caps and started running through the streets of Phoenix saying, no justice, no peace, they slammed them to the ground after they told them to get out the street and they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I saw that on that highway there by Ferguson, right out in the middle of this major multiple lane highway. They weren't letting people get around. People were trying to get through like little breaks in the crowd and stuff like that, and then they kind of almost jump on that vehicle. And I thought, this is dangerous behavior. And yeah, where is law enforcement in a case like that? That's just dangerous behavior. And they're lucky somebody didn't get hurt.
They are under the directive of the regime. They are doing little to nothing.
They are, but I wonder, you wonder who these brainless supporters are, but really marching down the center of an interstate an interstate highway? Really? I mean, that doesn't sound like the smartest thing in the world to me to be doing. You just assume people are going to stop for you? I mean, wow.
Well, I just wanted to let you guys know that it is spreading, the tension is rising, and law enforcement is doing little to nothing. Even those that are now being criticized harshly for it. Guys, I'm V. Wright.
I'm Jose Estevez.
And this is the WTF, the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show. We're here every Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. Please check our website at www.thewtfradioshow.com. We are on 7 nights a week through Recast. If you miss our show, please check our Recast schedule so that we can make sure our information gets out there. We appreciate all of you for spreading the word. Our listenership is so incredible at this stage of the game. We're just beginning our 3rd week, and it is all due to you guys, and I just cannot thank you enough. Please continue to help spread the word of our show. Our success is definitely falls at the feet of our listeners, and you guys are absolutely amazing. Another thing I want to bring up, tomorrow night, following the WTF, the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, will be a new show. It is hosted by Charles Kaprowitz, and he is an author and an amazing man trying to do wonderful things to reel in this government through the Counterman Amendment. It is state legislatures of the Round Table with Charles Kaprowitz that will follow our show tomorrow night. They will run from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Tuesday nights, so you guys make sure to tune into that. In addition to that, guys, y'all make sure you stick around for the DJ Stallion Show. Jose, you want to carry us out tonight?
Well, I just wanted to say I think people need to get their legal pads tomorrow night, and when they're listening to Charles, and a pen or a pencil, whatever their favorite writing instrument is, because this gentleman who we had on is just amazing, and a brain that won't stop, and far more knowledgeable than I'll ever be on those issues. And I was just so impressed by him last week. And like I said, folks, get your papers out and take notes, because I think you're going to learn a lot from him. He is a very bright man. We're blessed to have him on this network. And I just want to say, as always, thank you to our listeners, guys, gals, kids. Students.
Guys, I've got to make a correction. Y'all make sure to stick around for the Paul Carpenter Show. Guys, it's been a great night. Y'all have a nice one. We'll see you again tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
God bless.
These mist-covered mountains are home now for me. But my home is the lowlands, and always will be. Someday you'll return to your valleys and your farms, and you'll no longer burn to be brothers in arms. Through these fields of destruction, baptisms of fire, I've witnessed your suffering as the battle reached high, and though we didn't help me so bad, in the fear and alarm, you did not desert me, my brothers in arms. There's so many different worlds, so many different souls, and we have just one world, but we live in different worlds. Now the sun's gone to hell, the moon's riding high. Let me bid you farewell. Every man has to